Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
We'd like to welcome everybody to the July 15th, 2020 IDA meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First up on the agenda is the accepted minutes to the IDC board meeting from June 17, 2020. Everybody's received these minutes. Can I get a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept the minutes?
Motion
I'll
by
second.
Rose, second by Justin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So opposed? The ayes have it. So ordered. Next up on the agenda is number 3. It's accept the minutes to the public hearing held on June 24th, 2020 for the Avalon Bay Communities Incorporated and B&H Realty Group LLC. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Oh,
I'll
Tom?
second the motion.
Okay. On the question? Tom?
No, I was just going to say, again, this was held virtually. We did have one speaker. We left it open for a week because of it, because that it was done virtually, and all questions have been answered that we had received.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so ordered. Next up on the agenda is number 4, which is a preliminary inducement resolution of the Town of Babylon IDA relating to the granting of preliminary approval to Babylon Bus Lot Properties LLC in connection with the potential grant of certain financial assistance agency with respect to the project consistent of to be located at an address, merge existing lots and one new for the use as. Can I get a motion for a motion on this?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second it, Paulette.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so ordered. Next up is number 5, a resolution granting approval on the authorizing of a grant for certain financial assistance to the Town of Babylon Industrial Development Agency to Avalon Bay in connection with.
We have Kevin Gremps here today, who had done an independent study he's from the National Development Council. And I'm going to turn it over to Kevin just to give you a quick outline of the project.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Good morning.
All right, Brendan, you can go to the next slide if it is Brendan advancing it. So I'm here to speak with you about this Avalon Bay Communities proposed 338 unit residential development at the site of the former Brunswick Hospital in the village of Amityville. Just for background purposes, I've met many of you. NDC is a national nonprofit that works on behalf of municipalities and public benefit corporations to increase the flow of capital and then also be an economic development advisor. And one of the more common roles that we play is to look at these transactions and determine the appropriate need for financial assistance and to right-size incentive packages to establish financial feasibility without providing undue enrichment. So what our assignment was for this particular project is look at the applicant's application from Avalon Bay. You could advance it to the next slide. Review their application, review their separate financial model, and understand the program. Determine the need for the payment in lieu of taxes through the IDA, and then offer comment and perspective on the sizing and the terms of the pilot to IDA staff and board. Okay. You go to the next one. So this is a proposed 338 unit mixed. Actually, it's not mixed income. There's not a workforce component, but it is a transit-oriented development, given its location less than 1 mile from the train station, and it's on almost an 8 acre site at the former Brunswick Hospital site. The unit mix is for the 338, 49 studios, 184 one-bedrooms, 79 two-bedrooms, and 26 three-bedroom units. For this particular development, there is no workforce housing set aside. The development budget, as reported from the applicant, is a little bit less than $120 million investment. Very significant investment for the village of Amityville. That's equivalent to about $353,000 a unit. What is a little bit unique about this, given the fact that Avalon is a publicly traded real estate investment trust, unlike most developers who normally finance these developments with 65% debt and 35% equity, this is funded through 100% equity, coming given the fact that it's funded through a real estate investment trust. This is in the transit-oriented development zone of the village, and the village has received a lot of recognition for its work towards establishing this TOD zone. And Vision Long Island recently gave it the Strengthen the Communities Award last year, based upon the work that they've done to encourage this type of development near their train station. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the site as it exists now, and you'll see a rendering of the proposed as complete product. Okay, next slide. So the IDA assistance, in summary, the current taxes is right now about 110,000 on an as complete basis. Based upon the 338 units, those taxes would be a little bit less than $2 million. And if projected in the future over the 15-year term of the proposed pilot, that would be almost $36 million. However, based upon that as complete taxes, the development would not be financially feasible. So we have proposed the 15-year schedule that results in pilot payments over 15 years of roughly $18.7 million. There is, of the $119 million budget, 73 is attributable to construction costs. We assume that 50% of those construction costs are attributable to building materials. So there's roughly a $3.2 million exempt or benefit through the exemption of the sales tax. There is no mortgage recording tax, unlike most IDA deals that you see, due to the fact that this is going to be funded with 100% equity and there is no mortgage. Okay, next slide. And first thing I want to point out is I apologize. The current taxes on all parcels on the subject development right now is 109,000. The 115,000 that you see is the baseline taxes after the 2-year construction period. So current taxes is 109,000. The 115 would be baseline taxes after the building is placed into production. The other error I'm acknowledging is that the as complete taxes is that number that I just reviewed, 1,997,000, but that is still equivalent to 5,900 per unit. Taxes starting at 5,900 per unit renders the project financially infeasible. Simply put, the developer, the investment doesn't yield the necessary returns to attract that investment, and the project would not proceed if taxes were at full assessment. The pre-tax internal rate of return based upon full taxes starting in year 1 would be 5%. Avalon Bay would not do this if their internal rate of return was 5%. What they're really interested in is their yield to cost, their net income in the 3rd year divided by their project cost. They're looking for at least 7% and for a leverage internal rate of return, they're looking for at least 10%. So based upon the proposed pilot schedule, that allows them to meet those financial thresholds. Okay, next slide. So the pilot summary is a 15-year tax schedule. It's 100% abatement on the improvements in the first year and a straight phase-in to full taxes from years 2 through 15. Over the 15-year term, the aggregate pilot is $18.7 million. That is roughly a $1.2 million average payment average payment in lieu of taxes, which is equivalent to a little bit more than $3,500 per unit. That average annual payment of $1.2 million is over 11-point multiplier of what the taxes are on the as-is land right now. So it's a very, very good increment of taxes for the various jurisdictions. There's also $583,000 annually that are not subject to the pilot. And those are for what I believe are refuse fees that the applicant will also be paying. They're not subject to the pilot, so they have to be paid in full. So the predictability of the schedule is crucial for securing the equity commitments in order for the project to proceed. Okay. So this is a summary of the pilot. During the 15 years, I had mentioned that $18.7 million of what they pay, and that's under that pilot column. Again, that's on average over $1.2 million in pilot payments, which is more than 11-time multiplier of what is being paid right now. Okay. So you'll see the nice growth in the increment during the term of the pilot based upon that graph. Next slide. In all of these, we're looking to demonstrate that the public benefit exceeds the benefit provided to the project. Over the term of the pilot, the 15-year term of the pilot, there's that $18.7 million of pilot payments that are being made. And then also the developers paying those non-abated taxes, and that's really for refuse. So it pays 19.2 over the term of the pilot, which exceeds the benefit provided to the project. The other benefit provided to this by this development, okay, you could proceed. 173 short-term construction jobs, 7 full-time equivalent jobs. Let's face it, we not only have a need for workforce and affordable housing, there's an acute need for rental residential developments. And this is a development that achieves density near a transit station. And it brings in a very respectable, considerable amount of disposable income based upon 338 residents moving into the village of Babylon. It's estimated that there will be approximately 13 million in annual disposable income to support the village retail trade and the regional retail trade. So that's it. I'll be happy to take any questions.
No questions for Kevin, everybody?
Just thank you for the presentation. It looks like a substantial investment into the community. So that's a very positive thing.
All right, so we'll move on to, can we get a motion on resolution number 5?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Okay.
Move on to resolution number 6, resolution authorizing the amendment to project documents relating to the Basilico Materials LLC to reinstate and extend New York State and local sales and use tax exemptions for the project. Can I get a motion on this?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Second it.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so ordered. Next up is number 7, resolution authorizing the amendment of projects documents relating to the Optimal Foods Inc. project and reinstate. Sorry about that. Reinstate and extend New York State and sales tax exemption for the project. Can I get a motion on this?
Motion,
Second? All, second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so ordered. Next up is number 8, the Chief Executive Officer's report.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Just very quickly, I just want to, first of all, thank you again for your leadership and your support on many of the projects that we're doing and the outreach that we're doing here in the town. It's very much appreciated. So thank you very much. I was also just quickly, I was on a call last week. The town, I was on with Deputy Supervisor Martinez and Supervisor Schaefer, and a lot of the elected officials here in the town. And it's a campaign that the town is doing on the census 2020. And just to let you know, to get it on your radar, that we will be taking an active role in that project to reach out to the business community and doing our part, as this is a very important issue for the town. And lastly, I just want to touch base on the governor had extended the executive order to be able to hold meetings virtually. And that was extended till August 6th. And just to let you know, we will stay in touch with you if we are going to make any changes as far as how we will be conducting our meetings. And for now, that's basically all I have today. And again, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, next up is old business. Is there any old business? None, any new business? New business, I'd like to thank Matt and the team for everything. As always, you guys are doing a great job.
Yep.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion closed.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you very much.